All right, looks like we're good. Hello,
Aloha.
guys. What is up? Welcome or welcome back to my channel, The Tarot Magician. Renee here. Today we have a very special guest, Jonathan Dailey. Thank you so much for joining me today. I so appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. And hello, Scott. How are you? Hi, Deanne. How are you? Just say quick hellos
Oh,
before
welcome.
we get started. First off, Jonathan, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, let us know about your channel, things like that, anything you would like to share.
Sure. I'm just throwing in an aloha in the chat here. Here
Yes.
we go. So yeah, my channel is Jonathan Dailey. I do unboxings of tarot and oracles, and the last probably about a year, I guess now, not quite a year, I've been interviewing deck creators. So that has been amazing. Getting to not only see the deck from the deck creator's point of view, but also getting to know some of the most amazing people in our community. So
Yes, that is amazing.
Mm-hmm. And yesterday, I had my fourth Tuesday with my friend Betsy. We always have our little psychic play dates every fourth Tuesday.
Those are always
yeah. And that one actually that lasted an hour and a half yesterday because I took September off, and so we hadn't gotten to play since August. So yeah, we got a little carried away and just like, sure, we'll just keep reading everybody.
That happens. I've done a collaboration with one of my friends. We were doing mediumship readings, strictly mediumship readings that lasted a good 3 hours, the whole collab. So I trust me, I know.
Once you're in the zone, it's hard to slip back out of it, right?
It really is. It really is. And I love that. All right, we'll say quick hellos. So hello again, Scott. Oh, I clicked on myself. Hello again. Hi, Deanne. Jackie, hello. Welcome.
Aloha, Jackie.
Huh? Who's what? Nobody's here. Apparently somebody's in my backyard and we didn't know. You want to go check? Because I wasn't aware that somebody was supposed to come over.
Uh-oh. Double booked.
Already getting into spooky season vibes, I guess, you know? Sorry about that, guys. Hello, Asal. All right, so today we're just going to have a casual conversation about psychic abilities, mediumship, as well as witchcraft. If you guys have any questions along those 3 subjects, please feel free to ask, okay? We are open to any type of discussion today. And I first want to, though I do want to get into asking you, Jonathan, like what was your first experience in any of those realms, or just like your first spiritual experience that really got you into your journey, basically?
Well, I guess my birth. I mean, I'm trying to think back. I'm like, it's always been there. Like, it's never not been a part of my life.
I love that.
My mom always encouraged me to listen to my dreams, pay attention to the invisible world, and pay attention to the intuitive hits I get. And
yes.
And like I said, it really started at birth. I was born at home because my mom didn't even realize she was in labor.
Aww.
And at the time, they were living in Mexico. And so I was born in a waterbed. The house was built on the side of this plateau that I'm pretty sure was a Mixtec pyramid. So I always say I was born in Mexico on the side of a pyramid.
I love that. See, you learn something new every day. So, do you remember then your first experience like as a young child, or do you remember any stories maybe that they would tell you as a young child as well?
Well, I remember my stepbrother, I remember this incident where it's like, I told him about the fact that I would have dreams, and the next day it would happen. I'd have these prophetic dreams.
Right.
How old was I? Probably 5 or 6, maybe. I don't know. I'm not even remembering.
Yeah.
But of course, you know, he was like, yeah, whatever.
Right.
But like, I always remember those. I was always very a vivid dreamer, and like I said, like a lot of times I dream the next day that night. And then when I was in it was second grade, first or second grade, my mom, who's a school teacher at the same school, had a Native American shaman come in to tell her people's stories. And so she got special permission from the principal and my teacher for me to come and be a part of her fifth grade class, right? Just specifically for this shaman. And the shaman not only told stories, but then had everyone there get up and do an energy circle together. And after, like, I was there, like, I just stayed with my mom. The shaman came up to my mom and was talking, like, she knew I was listening. But she was telling my mom that, like, oh, your son, strong in spirit. Yes, you must cultivate that in him. Yeah. And so, so my mom has always been very supportive. She encouraged me in exploration of all things esoteric. And then, of course, when I really started diving deep, I was 13. My aunt gave me a tarot deck for myself, and it was the one JJ Swiss, which I'm like, I don't know how to read this. And that summer, I went to summer camp in New Jersey, and there was a guy there teaching a class I immediately signed up for. So the class covered reading tarot, using runes, using pendulums, how to work with crystals, energy work, setting intentions, doing like crystal elixirs. The guy did a past life regression for us, and that's what got me started going down that path. And now, like, at the age of 14, I was giving people past life regression. So,
I love that.
Yeah, and then it just, you know, continued from there. When I got into college, I helped found the Pagan Alliance Network, you know, PAN, and that was a cool little pagan Wiccan style student union. And we would get together, the members would get together and do rituals for, like, you know, the main high holidays. And that was cool. I don't think that even exists there anymore, but we rocked it while we were there.
Take advantage of it while you could.
And the co-founder was Jenna Matlin. If you know her, she's pretty big in the tarot community. And then I think I was just diving too deep too quickly, because then I went and got my ears pierced. But I got my ears pierced at a 10 gauge. And then I went on to acupuncture school, and I found out that, like, the ear is seen as an upside down fetus, and you can treat the whole body with needles in the ear. And that point everyone always gets their ears pierced at is the eye point. So, and the interesting thing is, after I got the piercings, I stopped having my dreams.
Really? Wow.
I hardly remember dreams anymore. I used to be like 4 or 5 dreams a night I'd remember vividly, and
wow,
like, I'm lucky if I remember one dream a month.
Yeah, they told me I used to suffer from migraines like a lot before I really, like, dove into my spiritual practice, but now I realize it's just because I was like trying to hide it, you know. So of course I would get migraines a lot. But they had told me that there's also too a specific piercing that you could get also for migraines to, like, stop them, but I never did.
Well, I've heard mixed reviews. Some people say it works amazing, like it took their migraines away completely. Other people, there was no change. I think one person actually said it made their migraines worse.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't remember. But go get acupuncture.
Yeah, that is awesome. And oh yes, there you go, Scott. The Darth, I think, is what it's called. Is that correct? The Darth.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Right.
And it's this little fold right here.
Yeah, something along I was like, "That looks like it hurts."
It's the Thin Man and the, I know all the points in the ear, so don't get me started.
I'm usually really good with, like, needles and piercings and, like, shots, but for whatever reason, I was just kinda like, "No, I think I'm good."
That one would be brutal because all you're doing is piercing cartilage. It's not even skin there. I mean, a little bit of skin, obviously, but it's mostly cartilage, and that's ouchy.
Yeah. So I kind of want to ask you more about what it was like kind of doing ritual work with other people because I'm a solitary right now. I don't have like anybody else to perform
Mhm.
rituals with. So like did you have any like feelings while you were doing that or could you like channel other people like in the circle? Like what was it like?
So, yeah, I'm actually pretty solitary myself.
Mhm.
But it was good in a way because you could feel everyone's energies mingling.
Yeah.
It definitely felt way more potent, like
Hmm.
2 + 2 is 10 kind of like feeling.
Yeah.
Um,
Magnified.
Magnified for sure. And then I also noticed that we tended to draw attention from the spirit world when we did it in a group like that.
Right.
Um, Actually, there was one ritual where Krononos just like showed himself to me, and I was just having like a moment, and everyone else was like, "What?" But like, yeah, that was a deep moment. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, I've never participated in, like, group rituals or anything like that. I mean, I would love to one day. I mean, if I had the opportunity to, I would definitely jump at it, but, for now, it's just me, myself, and I.
yeah. I've also known people who do rituals this way.
Oh, I need to try that one day then.
Techno is get your Zoom coven together.
Yes. Yeah, that's a really good idea. I should definitely try that one day.
It's
I don't know
it's
why I never
interesting for sure. It's not the same as being in the same room together, but it's way more than just doing it by yourself, right?
Mhm. Right. So within your practice, what is your main thing that you kind of tend to go towards? Like for me with my practice, my main thing is like fire magic or like candles. So I'm
Mhm.
guessing like I'm asking what is your I guess main thing that you like to go to or what are your I guess tools that you like to use
Tools.
as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I do the candles. I
Yeah.
work water magic. I do earth magic. I mean, I try and do
All of it.
all of it. I mean, I really love working with crystals.
Mhm.
Wearable crystal grids. Right?
To get one soon. I promise I will.
Runes. I love making my own runes. Sigils.
Mhm.
Um, Sigil magic is like probably the one I lean on the hardest because it's just so simple and easy to sketch the sigil, set your intention, put some energy in, and you're done.
Right.
Um, but I mean, during like main holidays, I will do like a personal ritual. These days, I'm pretty solitary myself and have been for a long time.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I mean, I guess it would be fun to have a little gathering too. I mean, I've done
Now
a few in the past, but it's just like I always find that while those are fun, my main practice is for me, so I'm the one having to do the work, right? So that's why I lean towards the solitary side. Yeah. And then I'm not having to like okay what I want to do with anyone else.
yes, yes, that's another thing too, where I think for the most part, I'm also okay with being solitary because there's still some things that I'm still trying to learn and that I'm still
Mhm.
not, I still don't feel like comfortable with. So it's also about that too.
Right.
But
Well,
yeah,
and working with others can get you comfortable in certain situations too, where you might not be comfortable solitaire.
yes,
So
yes, it has.
it's a balancing act, like all things, right?
It really is. I'm trying to get more into doing like other things too, other than candles, because candles is just something that I've already like mastered and that I know like works for me.
Right.
So I barely started getting into working more with like moon water, like the moon magic.
Mhm.
I'm
Oh, I
also
work with the moon all the time.
I'm also working more with like oils and stuff as well, things like
Mhm.
that. Just incorporating different elements that way. again, because when you incorporate other elements, obviously it makes it that much more like stronger, you know? Yeah. Oh, thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. And like I said, guys, the chat says, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I also linked Jonathan's channel in the description below as well. In case you guys aren't following, please make sure you do so during this live or at the end of it. It's up to you. I usually do it during the live. I just do it like real quick, you know?
Right. But then you don't have to think about it again.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm ready. Because I know afterwards I tend to forget. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna do it now. Like, you know. So let's dive into a little bit of mediumship. Do you have any stories you would like to share that, you know, like I guess things that hit you like really deep about mediumship?
Well, for me, mediumship's a little bit different. It's like, yes, I get the whispering, but a lot of time because I'm such a channel, I just like, they just take over my mouth and they speak through me. So it's not like I hear it and then I relay the message. It's more like, and so, I mean, it happens during readings. I've had people's past loved ones' voices come out of me. When I was in college, I had a roommate that, I don't know what he was thinking, but he took acid and mushrooms together or something. And I'm the one that ended up having to babysit him, and we were walking. We ended up by this, like, it was nighttime. We ended up by this pond. And I just remember I had a water bottle, and I was doing this circle on top. And doing that circle just kind of set me into this, like, other headspace where I just, like, I checked out of my body. And he said that, like, people were, like, I kept shifting, like, my face would shift into someone else's face, and then that person would talk, and then it would shift into somebody else's face, and then that person would talk. Meanwhile, I'm like floating way up here talking to my grandmother. And it's just, yeah.
All these things.
Looking down, seeing all like this crowd, like trying to get through to talk to the guy because this was the only time in his life he was going to have this moment, because he was very skeptical, did not believe in the spiritual at all.
Right.
He just thought once you're dead, you're plant food, right? But so all these spirit guides of his were trying to get through to him through me, and yeah, I wasn't even the one on anything.
Oh my God, I got the shivers when you're talking about that. That's happened to me a couple of times, but one time I still remember, and I still remember just like the feeling of it. I mean, it's hard to describe, right? Like it's really hard to describe, but I remember being, we were at a hotel one time with my family, and the hotel in general just had another feel to it. Like, you know, some have different energies than others, and this one had a very distinctive energy to it. That was nothing that I had come across like till then, basically.
Right.
So I was in the middle of my sleep, and I already had 2 other spirits come to me that night. But the third spirit that came to me was something different, and I had felt it kind of like shift through me. Like, you know, I'm trying to describe it the best way I can, but I felt that spirit shift through me, and I woke up from my dream, and I knew I was fully awake. Like, I knew I was awake. I just started screaming out, "Mom." All I was screaming, and I was screaming as if I was like in danger or somebody was trying to hurt me. Like, I was screaming, and my mom was right there, like in the bed next to me, you know. My mom just like wakes up, and she's over here thinking like something is happening, and she's just like trying to wake up herself, and then she's just like she shakes me, and as soon as I hear her voice, I kind of like snap out of it. And she knows that I do this, but she's not very fond that I do it. So she kind of had a feeling of what was happening. So she kind of just went back to sleep, and I'm over here like, the hell just happened? Like, you know, for a second, my memory kind of just like blinked for a little bit, and I had to snap myself back to reality. And when I realized what just happened, I was kind of like, did a spirit just speak through me? Like, you know, I was just like, yeah, that's what happened. And then, of course, I couldn't go back to sleep the entire night. Like, I was up just laying there like, all right, like, you know. But it was definitely a weird feeling, but I would obviously like I wouldn't be afraid if it happened again because of like since I already had the first initial feeling, like
Okay.
get
You know
used to
what it feels like now.
yes, yes. And
Has
it's
it ever happened during a reading though?
during a reading, I don't think it's happened during a reading, but I had people tell me that I say exactly what their person has said to them in the past, you know, and that
Mm,
gives them confirmation that it is exactly who I'm talking to. You know what I'm
right,
saying? But
right.
I don't feel like it's that like I don't feel like it was the same experience as that experience, if that makes sense, right?
Or my cat's trying to sneak her way around here. I'm just making sure she doesn't knock over anything.
I love cats, but I'm sadly allergic to them.
It's funny. I'm the only one in my on my mom's side of the family who's not allergic.
Mhm.
And the interesting thing is, I think 2 weeks before I was born, my mom had a cat. She wasn't allergic until she became allergic later in life.
Right.
But she had a cat.
Mhm.
The mama cat jumped up on my mom's bed, like curled up where her feet were, and
Uh-huh.
proceeded to give birth in front of her. Like, you're pregnant, I'm pregnant. Let me show you how it's done, you stupid human. So when my grandmother came, because they had nothing, they didn't have any baby clothes or diapers. They were using dishcloths as diapers. My grandmother came with just a suitcase full of baby clothes and diapers. She hated cats. She came in, apparently they were busy changing me, and
Uh-huh.
there's kittens jumping all around me. And she's like, no, get those cats away. But I think because I was around kittens when I was so young, I never developed the allergy that the rest of the family developed. So,
Well, see, I've had cats my whole entire life. Like growing up, we've had a cat. Well, I would say probably like middle school, not so much my childhood, but middle school on, I had cats like growing up, right? And just all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like the allergy started to come, and I was just like, no, like what is this? Oh, is there something? Is it a little feedback?
yeah, a little feedback. I just turned down my computer a little. Hopefully that helped
I'll
too.
turn mine down a little bit. But I don't have any other devices on, so that's weird.
Yeah.
Maybe,
I don't hear it anymore, so
yeah.
maybe just turning down was
I
really
only heard it for like like a
a
little
little bit.
couple
Yeah,
minutes. You never know. It's probably spirits trying to communicate too. I mean, it is Halloween season, so
it's true. And then, well, the reason I bring up channeling in a reading is because that's what happens to me often, not all the time, but I remember giving a friend a reading, and I don't remember the exact reading, but I just remember flipping out a card and just this like very hurtful, not hurtful, but like truth in a way that's hurtful, kind of like
yeah.
phrase came out, and like it was like a whole paragraph of like information just like boiled out of me. I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I said it like that. And he
Yeah.
just leaned forward. He's like, no, no, sweetie, that was my mother speaking.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, ooh, sorry.
Oh, I'm gonna have to get a reading for you from you one of these days though, like for sure. Because well, I love getting readings from other people. I read for myself, but when it comes
Yeah,
to like mediumship, obviously that's better if you go with somebody else because sometimes it's what you want to hear and not what you need to hear, you know?
right, right. Well, that's why I love Betsy. She doesn't pull punches. She's just like, well, this is what they're saying, so deal
Yeah.
with it.
I love that. That is so awesome. Okay, Scott says it's much better now. Thank you, Scott. Yeah,
Cool.
I think everything sounds good. Hi, Jan. How are you? Welcome. All right, so I guess we can start talking. Well, before we get into it, do you have any like Halloween, like spooky stories that you want to share? Because I always love hearing specific
So
towards that kind of stories.
the first time I ever actually saw a ghost, like with my eyes instead of just feeling them,
Yeah.
it was at same summer camp.
Hmm.
We were there was like a small group of us. We went to the cafeteria. We all got like a soda. I think it was just we just got sodas, whatever. And then there was this one thing called the dollhouse, and like it was like a miniature little playhouse that the camp had turned to a library.
Hmm.
And a lot of times at night, the kids would go and just hang out in there. So the weird thing is like it was like a miniature house basically, and this summer camp had been a farm for like generations, and like there was grandmother's house was the music building, and everyone always talked about how they would feel grandmother looking at them when they were in the attic space, and we were coming up to the dollhouse, and suddenly in the window of the dollhouse, but weirdly in proportion with the house, like it there's no way it could have been in proportion with the house, was this green glowing old woman. Like she was just like emanating this like neon green color. I don't even know how else to describe it. And you know, because I was with a group and everyone screamed and started running, I just kind of like got swept along.
Yeah.
But everyone is like screaming and running the opposite way because like in the window was like this green old woman looking out at us.
Oh my goodness.
And we were just like, no, it's grandmother, run away. So yeah, that's my main ghost story for Halloween. Yeah.
There's one time where I was spending the night at one of my friend's house, and we had been outside just kind of like chit-chatting and talking, right? And it was already dark. Like it was already dark, so like there was no way I could have seen this without knowing that I actually saw it, because it was already dark time. Like it was already nighttime. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that night I ended up seeing a dark shadow kind of figure, and it was like really, really fast. It wasn't something that was like slowly. It was just like one of those, right?
I've seen those.
Yes, I know for a fact that I saw it, and I was just kind of like, I didn't say anything because I didn't know how my friends like would take it or like anything like that. So I just kind of like shut my mouth, right? Well, we end up right before we go to bed. Okay, my friend looks at me and she says, "Oh, by the way, if you see any dark figures, that's normal here." And I was like, what do you mean that's normal? Because I saw one about 2 hours ago and you're barely telling me this now right before I go to sleep. Like, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to sound crazy. And you're over here telling me that it's normal? Like, what?
You know what? That was the other story I was gonna say. Was the shadow people. There's a friend of mine, they moved up country, but they used to live just like a few blocks away from me. And I think there was a vortex in that house or something, because everyone who ever went there, no matter how skeptical they were, they always saw shadow people.
Yeah.
And every time I was over there, I'd always like out of the corner of my eye catch like a shadow person standing in the corner staring at us, and I like look and like it would see that I saw them, and that same whoosh, or just like
just like
sometimes it just whooshed to another corner, and I'm like, I still see you.
What are you doing?
And I never felt in danger from them.
Yeah, no.
But there was definitely like this one spot in the hallway where it's just like people could feel it. And my friend was like, one day it was this party, and she's like, "Okay, guys, you got to see this." So she kept getting like pieces of tinfoil, crump it up into a little ball, because that's what she would create, these like little tinfoil balls for her cats. She's like, "Watch this." And she rolled it down the hallway, and you'd see the tinfoil go bounce, bounce, poof. It just, she did it like 3 times, and every time the tinfoil ball would just vanish from
Oh my God.
And we're like, she's like, "It's the vortex."
I would love to see that though. Like
that was crazy. That was one of the most intense things I saw. But that night there was a lot of shadow people. Like people were catching shadow people on their cameras. There was orbs around us. So that was a pretty potent night. Actually, you know what? I think that was a Halloween party now that I think about it.
I have a Halloween story too, actually.
Like, oh wait, I do have a Halloween story.
I know, I barely remembered myself because it was back when I was like, I think in high school. One of my friends had spent the night here at my house, right? And we were watching that movie, Haunting of Molly Hartley. Have you heard of that one? It's like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, we were watching that one on TV. And all of a sudden we hear like a knocking outside of the house, and it was really, really loud. Like you can hear it like big time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly sounded like someone was trying to scare us. So I like turned to my friend and I'm like, "You heard that, right?" And she's like, "Yes, I heard that." And then she's like in the middle of this freaking scary movie, like, "No, like, what do you, and on Halloween." And my parents weren't home because they were out at some Halloween party, right? So we were just by ourselves. So we weren't going to be those stupid people that go out and like try to see what's outside, right? So we kind of ignore it and we're just kind of like, okay, let's move on, right? Like we heard it, yeah, like it's done for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably like an hour later, we hear it again. And so we're just like, what the hell is this? Like, so we go and we try to look. So we look through the windows, instead of going outside,
Mm-hmm.
like idiots. We look through the windows but we didn't see anything. We didn't see anything. There was nothing there. And we were just kind of like, okay, I guess. And then like 10 minutes later, my parents get home and my parents are like, what happened? Because they can tell we're kind of like freaked out. And we're like, either something or someone was trying to scare us because we heard knockings constantly like outside of the house. And my dad was like, haha, it's just a ghost, like whatever, right? And we're like, okay, we could never explain it. We could never saw anything, but we obviously heard something there, right? Oh, Scott says, Jonathan, come to my live Halloween day, please, and bring your shadow people.
They're not my shadow people. I just see them. Sorry, I was a little distracted. I was getting texted by someone who's trying to find the live but can't seem to find it on YouTube for some reason.
See, I don't know what's going on with YouTube lately, but like a lot of people have been telling me that they're not getting my notifications, that they really only see me when they're popping on and
You
they just
know what I've discovered is, you know how there's that countdown in StreamYard?
uh-huh.
If you don't do that, the notification doesn't go out. But if you do start the countdown and then go live, the notification will go out.
What? Well, then maybe I used to do that because I had stopped using StreamYard for a little while, and just was going regular live like on YouTube, but then I noticed that too. So I was like, I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, I need to do the countdown. Otherwise, they don't send out. Oh, there's Jamie.
There, hi, found
No,
you.
she
Glad you found
subscribed and has the bell dinged, but she
me.
never got any notification or anything. And she couldn't, she's been looking for us and
Yeah,
she couldn't find us.
and
So,
we've already been on half an hour. Like,
right.
you
That's why I was
see,
distracted. I was sending her the link.
you see what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I can't help it. It's out of my control.
Just do the countdown before you go live. I
I'm gonna do it.
noticed that as soon as I started doing that with every live, notifications always go out.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I'm gonna start doing that now.
Little tip for you.
Thank you. So do you have any Halloween traditions maybe that you like to do?
Well, it's been kind of hard the last few years, but I always like having a deck on me so I can give readings to people that whoever party I'm at.
Uh-huh.
That's always been a tradition of mine. I also like setting aside some time for myself just to commune with the ancestors and do a reading to like have a conversation with the ancestors.
Right.
If it's close to the full moon, I'll do a little moon magic too. I think this year it's a half moon because the full moon was on the 20th.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think that's about it. I mean, I there's some things that I do for myself that I never share. So
Right. No, of course.
but then there's also there's a couple people in the neighborhood that always do haunted houses, and they haven't done it in a couple of years, obviously.
Yeah.
But one of our neighbors is like turned into one of our good friends during the pandemic because our son and their son are like that, and so we're probably going to end up over there. Last year we were over there, and I was giving readings to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So probably that's what we're going to end up doing this year too. Is just, well, there's that party and then another party up the street. Two neighbors both being like, "You got to come." I'm like, "Oh God, I got to split myself between two people."
Yeah. And still find time for myself.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I ask because I'm trying to do some new traditions here too myself. Just because now that my practice has grown, and now that the world is literally changing, like I'm trying to kind of
Right.
change along with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've
As
been
we all
trying to,
should, right?
yeah, yeah.
Embrace change before it's thrust upon you.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace it, adapt to it, and move forward.
Exactly.
That's what I always try to do. So yeah, I've been trying to figure out, different things that I can do this year on just to make it different yet unique, but still Halloween, you know?
Right. Just think of this. The veil is the thinnest that night.
Mhm.
So it's usually really good for ancestor work, spirit guide work, or even calling the gods if that's what you do. So,
Yes.
mhm.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely want to do more ancestor work for sure because you know, just because my family never really did any of that kind of stuff like with ancestors, like Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos,
Mhm.
like we never really did any of that, so I'm finally incorporating it my own now.
Right.
So I'm
Yeah, I
excited.
grew up with a Jewish mother, so anytime it was the anniversary of somebody's death, we'd have the Yartza candle lit, and with the picture next to them, and like let the candle burn for several days, and
Yeah.
so it's ingrained in me.
Yeah, I wish. See, that's the thing though. Like my whole entire family is Christian. Well, my mom's side of the family, majority of my family. So I'm the only one over here that's like practicing witchcraft and reading tarot, and they're over here like, "Oh, you're worshiping the devil." I'm like, "No."
I
But
always say, no, sorry, the devil's a Christian thing. I have nothing to do
like,
with
that's not me. I don't do that. But it's one of those things.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is you can only be yourself.
Yes.
You can't be anybody else. And
Hmm.
they can accept you as you are,
Yes. Mhm.
or
Or you don't.
you can have minimal exposure to them.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to get better at doing that. So, hi,
Mhm.
Gerald. Welcome.
There's
Um,
another one that was looking for us.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I don't
That's
know.
okay.
I'm going to try the countdown thing, see how that helps, and then we'll go from there.
I was having the same issue every time I go live. People are like, "Where are you? I can't find you." And I'm like, but, and then
I'm right here.
I think Gerald was actually the one that told me to start using the countdown, and that would fix the
Ooh,
problem, and it has. So,
yeah, well, that is awesome.
mhm.
So, I definitely want to talk more about past life regression because I actually did that last night. If
Oh,
what
really?
I did, I want to ask how you go about it, if you don't mind sharing, obviously.
Oh, sure.
I
No.
know past life can be a little bit of a private kind of thing. But what I did is I got one of those little baggies, and I
Mhm.
put some herbs and I put some crystals, obviously set my intention, and I put it under my pillow. And I really think that it did help because I did get a lot of images. They were just short
Mhm.
images. They weren't really like a dream per se. But I also think
Right.
because I'm barely like welcoming in past life energy, is that it's going like slowly. Because actually, the first dream that I had, I didn't remember it when I woke up, and that's not normally the case for me. Like I pretty much remember every dream that I have. So when I don't
Mhm.
remember it, it's because I blocked it out for a reason.
For a reason. Right.
So I want to ask how you started to go about your past life regression journey too. Just
So when I was 13, I did that class where the guy did a guided visualization or guided meditation for the whole class, and
right.
then after we came back together and talked about it.
Mhm.
In that regression, I remembered being this blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy in Rome who had just fought my way out of slavery because I was a marble carver, right? Like carving marble.
Mhm.
Um, but I had saved up enough money from my sculptures to buy my freedom. And I remember walking down the street being so elated because finally I was a free man.
Right.
And I look up and I'll go, oh, even the gods are blessing me because there's two suns.
Mhm.
There's the normal sun and then there's a tiny pinprick blue sun.
Mhm.
And after the fact, I did research and realized that I was probably the Star of Bethlehem because they said it's like a supernova that was visible for several weeks, right? Even during the day. So I was like, oh, that must have been that time. Okay. And then I always say that once you start opening those doors, other doors are going to blow open whether you want them to or not.
Yes, yes. I have to
So yeah,
prepare
there'd be
myself for
times I'd be talking to somebody about past life regression or whatever, and they start going, "Oh yeah, I had this life," and they start talking about their life, and suddenly I remember being there with them, and I start like describing other things. They're like, "How did you know?" I'm like, "'Cause I was there."
that. Oh, you see, I want to have that experience, and like I said too, I'm trying to be more open-minded because I think I had put myself into this kind of position to where I kind of had an idea of who I was, in certain past lives. Um,
Mhm.
but because I also think because I had some ideas that also kind of blocks it out, in a way, because you're not being
Right.
open-minded to all the possibilities. You only kind of want to see what you want to see.
Well,
So
one of the
get
the
past that.
past lives that bubbled up after that, like I don't even know why it bubbled up.
Mhm.
Like I don't even know what triggered it. Was
Yeah.
I remember being a nursemaid in the city of Babylon, sitting in my empty nursery because I was too old to produce any more milk and just sobbing because I didn't know what was going to happen to me because now that they didn't need me anymore, this family was obviously going to kick me out. But
Uh-huh.
this was my whole life.
Right.
And so a lot of the past life memories I have are just these snippets of either like the best time or the worst time,
Right.
right?
Uh-huh.
Um, and people ask, did you ever have past life memories of being an animal? And I said, yes, because that same roommate that like I would had to babysit, um, he actually saw me in my wolf form
Ooh.
with like a snowy forest behind me. And I never had told him that I had this vivid memory of being a young wolf going on my first hunt, chasing a white rabbit through a snow covered forest, pine forest, I'm pretty sure. And
Uh-huh.
he
Very
saw it in
specific.
me. And I was just like, okay, there's validation because the skeptic just saw it.
I love that. See, yeah, I haven't brought myself that far to think of animal past life, situations too. Like, because I think, like I said, for whatever reason, I was just very blocked when it came to past life.
Mhm.
I know I've had past lives. I also did a little bit of pendulum work as well, just to see how many past lives I've had. But according to my pendulum, it says I had more than 10. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, that's a lot. Like, I need to like break it down.
Right.
So that's where I'm slowly
I've
trying
lost
to.
count of how many lives have bubbled up at this point.
Yeah, yeah. I was just like the fact that it said that many, I was like, whoa, okay, slow down. Like.
We all have had multiple, many, many, many lives. So
Yeah,
my mom's texting me if that's what the ding is.
don't even worry. Yeah, but I've gotten a couple here too, but I try to not pay attention to them.
I just am noticing the dings. I'm like, oh God, it's dinging.
Yeah.
So before the pandemic, I was actually doing group past life regressions at the spa I was working at. And that was interesting because some people would get nothing. Other people would have these like vivid memories pop up. Um, and the weirdest one, or not the weirdest one, but the funniest one is, so one of the yoga instructors there brought her mom in. The mom is a total skeptic, just doing it because the daughter wants her to come along.
Uh-huh.
The daughter, who's totally into like all things esoteric. I mean, she teaches yoga. She was like really looking forward to seeing a past life. She
Yeah.
just passed out. She literally just passed out completely. I got to a point where she just fell asleep.
Well.
Part of it, I think, was her checking out because at the same time, there was a woman who was missing, and all these people, the yoga instructor included, were like walking through the woods trying to find her. And part of my visualization was you walking through the woods. As soon as I said you're walking through the woods, she checked out. She didn't want to, like, I guess her subconscious didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
But the mom, who was totally skeptical, didn't expect anything at all, had a vivid memory of being her own grandmother who had passed before she was born. So she remembers being a woman with like the apron, she was baking, and the person that's her dad was a little boy pulling on her apron strings. And she just has vivid memory. And that moment was when I connected past lives and ancestor work, because it's like we are our own ancestors.
Yeah. For sure. I definitely believe that too. I remember I think it was my mom, we had went to my great grandmother's house when she was still alive. And as I asked her, because my ears are very like big and pointy. So I remember asking her, where did I get my ears from? Because like really, I always had like insecurities about my ears, right? Especially because I was like growing up, I did cheerleading, so I always had to like show them, right?
Oh, right. Have the ponytail.
Yes. So I remember telling her one time, I was like, where did my ears come from? I want to see the person that gave me these ears, right? And so she's like, well, we're going to have to go to your great grandma's house because she has like, all the pictures, right? I was like, okay. So the moment she showed me, I think it was like my great grandfather, something along those lines, right? And she showed me the picture. I felt an instant connection to this person, even though obviously they didn't feel like my great, like,
right,
passed down. I felt an instant connection. And now that I'm kind of looking back to it, I'm almost wondering if maybe that was one of my past lives too, because there was obviously a reason why I wanted to know where my ears came from. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was a reason. And then again, the moment that I saw that picture, I was just kind of like I had one of those moments where I really had to like look at it, but also at the same time, like you said, like a flashback kind of instant. And I really didn't say anything. She's like, well, there you go. That's like, he's where you get them from, right? And I was just kind of, I didn't really say anything. I was just kind of like, okay. Like I stayed quiet. And then she's like, you're giving me all this fuss about your ears. And then that's all you have to say is like, okay. I just like, yeah. Like, I guess because I was kind of like, I don't know, remembering everything. But now that I think about it, maybe that's one of my past lives. My great grandfather.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
I mean, this woman like literally was her own grandmother.
Yeah.
Obviously, she didn't want to leave her family, so she was born to her son as the son's daughter. Yeah.
Yeah, you
I think it's convoluted, right?
You have to put the story together. I get it. That is awesome. So I have yet to talk about tarot, I know, but I know you said you started incorporating it when you were 13, right? That's when you started incorporating it. Did you have when did you feel comfortable reading for other people? Like, how long did it take you to get to that point?
Well, so I kind of dabbled in it at first. I wasn't really like a hardcore student, because that summer camp I had learned so much. That was just one of like so many other things. I was trying to do all of it at once, and I wasn't really focusing on anything. So I just focused more on the witchcraft at first. So from like 13 to 16, that was about what I was focusing on, just getting as many witchcraft books as I could, and like learning about candle magic and string magic and water magic and moon magic and all that stuff. But then when I was probably like 17, 18, I started really diving deeper into the other esoteric stuff. So I was pulling out runes, I was doing the tarot. I started really reading for others once I went to college, I think. Before that, it was just like I was just trying to get to understand it and to know it. And then once I was in college, and I started the Pagan Alliance Network, PAN, then that's when I started giving readings to other people. And it was more like, I just need to practice. And I was still pulling out the book back then. And my deck of choice was the Robin Wood. And yeah, And because the book I had, what was it? Tarot Quick and Easy? No, what was the name of that book? I think Tarot Quick and Easy, not Quick and Easy. I forget the exact title, but all the images were the Robin Hood cards. So I'm like, well, I better have the same deck so I know what to do. And so that was the book I was reading from, not the Little White Book. And I was like, all I would ever do was the Celtic Cross, and then I have to like sit there and read and like, but it wasn't like I was reading the whole thing. It was just like certain words would seem like they were highlighted, so that's what I would read out.
Right.
And that was when people were like, "Oh my God, how?" Like I remember these two girls were like begging me to give them a reading. So I was giving a reading to this one girl, and I'm like, and I'm talking about how there's all these problems with the boy, blah 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 blah. I'm like, and they're like, "Who told you?" I'm like, "Told me what?" I'm just reading what the cards say, and they're like, "Someone had to have told you." I'm like, "Sorry, it's the cards. The cards are telling me." That's when I knew that like that I would never put down the decks again. But yeah, but I did put down the decks a little bit after I got into acupuncture school, just because there was so much learning and a whole different world of esoteric knowledge to like absorb, that I kind of put the cards aside just for like about 10 years, just to really absorb all the Taoist philosophies behind acupuncture. So, but then, you know, I was still picking up the cards occasionally and still buying decks. So
It's hard not to.
Right? Even when you put it down, you can't put it down.
It's still gonna pick it up every now and then. Trust me, I know.
It just wasn't an everyday thing anymore. It was like, you know, maybe for somebody's birthday, or you know, I'm at a party kind of thing. But
yeah, I'm definitely, everywhere I go now, I have to make sure that I bring a deck, because I know someone's gonna ask me to read the cards for them.
Oh, all the time. People are like, "Do you always carry a deck?" I'm like, "I have to."
It's a part of me now. I literally have one that I keep just in my purse, so I know that I don't forget if I just like happen to just be in a hurry or something. You know,
Right.
it's already in there.
That's why I love those tarot in a tin.
Yes, I need to get more. I only have a couple.
I think I have like 3 of them, 4 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them.
The Halloween one is the one I have in a 10. That's for sure. I love that one.
I actually did not have a real Halloween themed one until this year. Well, that's not true. That's not true. I have ones that are Halloween-y, and this one's definitely very Halloween-esque. Tarot of the Unknown. But this year, I finally got myself a full-on Halloween deck.
I love that deck. It is so fun. Literally right in front of me. Look.
I love it.
I've been
using that deck so much the last couple weeks.
Yeah, I've been reading with it ever since I got it, and I've only put it down for a couple of days, and I used the Blacklight Tarot for a couple of days, just because, you know, Halloween, I wanted to get into like the vibe.
Right.
And then I brought it back out. It only took me a couple of days.
You know, I keep reaching for other ones, but I always keep coming back to this. Like I pulled out The Night Before Christmas. I hardly ever read with that one though, because of the weird pips. You know. Yeah.
I tend to use that one more during actual Christmas time, just because I still want to keep the spooky vibes for Christmas time.
Right. Yeah, I tend to use it between Halloween and Christmas. And then once Christmas is done, I put it away for the year. The other one I've been using is the Everyday Witch.
I don't have that one, but I have it on my wish list.
And yeah, I love that one because of because I always like pairing it with the Oracle.
The Oracle.
So, yeah, I like playing with both of them together. It's just fun. I don't know. I like playing with multiple decks. So
yeah, me too. I have the Wizard's Tarot and the Modern Witch Tarot. Those two I really enjoy.
I have the original Wizard's Tarot. Let me move this. One by Corinne Kenner. This one.
Yes, yeah, I don't have that one. I have
this one is out of print, hard to find. I'm shocked they didn't print more copies of it. I got it off Amazon when it was live. I got it for like $25. Now it's like 150 on eBay or something.
Oh, you got lucky.
But I've heard people are able to find the Spanish version for cheap, and then they just get the Fool's Dog app because that has the full book.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my collection is slowly growing every day. I have, how much do I have? I think I have 32 tarot and maybe 15 oracle, 15 to 20 oracle, I think. That's my number in collection.
That's good. It's a start.
It's smaller than most, I know, but
that's okay. There's nothing wrong with having a small collection. It's better quality over quantity, right? Mm-hmm. But also, getting my YouTube channel definitely turned me into more of a collector. Like I have way more decks now that I have a channel than I did before. Yeah, between tarot and oracle, I lost count. I'm somewhere between like 200, 250 decks.
See, I want to get to that point where I lose count.
I stopped counting after a while. I'm like, why? What? Who cares?
See, now I look at them as more as a business investment, since this is my business. So
right. Well, that's how I think of it too. Especially when certain decks you got it for $25, and now it's like, what? Excuse me, what? Yeah. Right, like the Bone Stone. I was like, oh, I can't pay $125 for that, and now it's like, what do you mean you went $1,200 for a deck?
I think the most I've spent it's probably like $80 on a deck. I think is the most I've spent.
The most expensive deck I have is the True Black. It was like $95 for that deck.
Yeah. I mean, I always told when I first started, I told myself, okay, you're not going to be buying decks that are like over $50. But now that I've been in it for a while, like now I'm just like, if I like it and if I'm going to use it, I'm going to buy it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I did end up getting the Bone Stone, but I paid with a necklace.
You see? Investment for investment.
Exactly. I don't know who got the better deal out of it.
Equally good, I'm sure.
Well, now I can say, so when people ask, so what is your necklace worth? It's worth a Bone Stone.
Yes. Here. Does that help?
Right.
So I want to ask, when you make the necklaces, do you like custom make them for intentions or? Yep. Yes.
So I work with people. They're not just necklaces; they're actually spiritual tools.
Right.
So I work with the person every time I make one without like having someone in mind or like a specific intention for that person. They just end up being my necklace. All the ones that I've sold are specifically made for that person.
Okay.
I talk with them. We talk about the desired energy they want in the necklace, what kind of work they're doing. So like the first one I made, Gerald, is specifically for ancestor work, right? Mm-hmm. So this one is also, for me, this one's also very much an ancestor work kind of necklace. Mm-hmm. I also have other things other than skulls, because I know some people are not into the skull thing, but I don't know. There's something about crystal skulls that very powerful. Mm-hmm. I've been obsessed with them since I took Mesoamerican anthropology and learned about the 2,000-year-old crystal skulls that are out there.
Right.
Never had any of my own until a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. And then it just turned into an obsession.
That's how it starts, right?
Not counting the necklaces, are the ones that I have specifically for making necklaces. I have 51 crystal skulls.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, and I have more on the way.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to get one. Just waiting. My husband, we're investing in his business right now. And we have to get a few last minute things in order, like the website, PO box, like,
right.
things like that. We just got the truck, for the business. So now that we have that going, hopefully once that picks up, I'll be able to purchase one. I don't have to worry about making sure I have money for that.
Yeah. Well, the most recent one I made actually didn't have a skull. It was a circular lion head made of labradorite.
Ooh.
And I have goddess figures for people who want goddess figures. Do I have any wolf heads left? I think I have like one wolf head left. And I can get whatever the person needs. So no.
I guess I'm gonna have to start thinking of it now. That way, by the time I purchase it, I know exactly what I want.
Yeah, sometimes people are like, I'm like, so what do you want out of this necklace? And then I get like this big list. I'm like, can we boil it down a little into like a very specific idea, like concept that kind of hugs all of that?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing too. Now I'm also starting to make intention oils for people too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. That's why I also have some kind of like already pre-made as well. So I'm gonna be like, okay, you want some for banishing, for protection, for cleansing? I got this one. Or you want some
it's
to
fun to play with oils.
yeah, like there's different ones, but of course I also make some like specifically if they have for whatever reason a specific intention, I can do that too. Like
Right. Well, and the necklaces, it's like I'm weaving with the intention. And when I make the necklace, what I do is I pull out all the stones that touch on whatever it is we talked about, and I lay them out in front of me, and I just start weaving, and I let my guides and their guides guide my hands.
Yeah.
And then once then the fabrication is done, it's not complete yet. I always put it in the Maui sun to have a sun bath. And then I do a earth bath by draping it around a Tibetan salt lamp. So that's the earth bath. And then once it's been cleansed and charged, then I put it under a full moon bath to really activate it. And in the full moon bath, it's not just out in the full moon, it's surrounded by my crystal skulls.
Yeah.
So I do like a crystal skull grid around the necklace. So it's really charged that way.
Scott says, I want a scorpion necklace. And you know what? I just thought, I was like, I could get a dragon necklace. I just thought about that because I recently started working with the dragons, and I think that would be a nice incorporation.
I actually have one dragon skull right now, and it's made out of ocean jasper.
You see? This is okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have a talk with my husband. Jan says, does Jonathan have an Instagram?
Yes, I do. It is Dailey LLC. Let me jump over to Instagram, grab it, and then I will post it. Okay, where is my Instagram?
Do you guys have any last minute questions? We're already, oh my gosh, we're already hitting the hour mark.
I know, right?
You see
I told you it'd be like it'd go by so fast.
Great minds think alike. Jackie, that would be cool for Scott, a scorpion one. You see, we're coming up with all these ideas now. Yeah, I think a dragon one.
I'm not sure how to grab a link on the app.
Oh, you might need to go through your internet.
I'll just, you know what I'll do? I'll just type in the @ and then you can use the @ to find me.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure we follow each other on there, don't we?
Yes, because I remember tagging you when I won.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was so excited because I never won anything. I was like, I actually won this, you guys. I can finally say I won. The only other thing that I've won, I think, was an eyeshadow palette a couple of years back. So as I'm saying, my winning streak on giveaways is very limited.
I haven't won that many giveaways myself, but the ones I have are kind of like, whoa.
Yeah. Jan's also asking, can you make the necklace any length? Yes.
Awesome. Deanne's is a choker. The second one I made for Gerald actually is like pretty far down. So, yeah. Just let me know what the measurements you want and we can work around it.
Yes. I can't do chokers because can you see my throat? I have, what is it called? The aorta cord.
Oh, yeah.
Mine is longer than most people, so it looks like, yes, it looks like I have a frog in my throat. I can't do chokers,
No
unfortunately,
chokers.
but I can do like, a regular size necklace like yours.
Yeah, this is about the size I usually make them.
Mhm. Well, I'll definitely
A
have to,
little shorter, a little longer,
yeah, yeah. I'll definitely have to keep in contact with you because now that I have the dragon one in mind, I'm gonna have to.
And if you want to see me making a necklace, I did one on Deanne's channel, Blue Crescent Tarot.
Mhm.
Um, so she had me on and I wove her necklace while we were chit-chatting.
Oh my gosh, that is smart.
Mm.
I love
And
that.
it's like I didn't mean it to be a choker, but somehow the wiring got shifted. So like I was forced to make it a choker, and I was so worried it was going to be way too small. And
Uh-huh.
it turned out to be exactly the right size for her.
Perfect. You see? I mean,
There
everything
are no
works out.
mistakes, right?
Yeah, everything works out. You said, "Oh, she just saw the lion's pendant on your Instagram. That definitely has insane energy for me."
Mhm.
Yeah, she says it was the best. I'm sure it was. That sounds. I'm gonna have
Mhm.
to go rewatch it then, for sure.
Perfect size. Yeah, it's unreal how perfect it is for her.
Well, everything happens for a purpose. That's for sure.
Mhm.
Well, thank you, Jonathan, for joining me today. I so
Oh, of
appreciate.
course.
Thank you for being so open in conversation. I always appreciate that too. Do you have any last minute things you may want to say? Any other last minute stories, maybe? Go for it.
Well, the guys wanted me to say that always remember you're unique, just like everyone else. There is no one else on this planet just like you. So
Yes.
be the best you can be. Okay.
I agree.
Don't me being open is just like it took me a long time to be open. Like I
Me
always
too.
thought I had to wear a facade and not be myself because who would accept me as myself? That was always in my brain. But
Right.
at this point, it's like being on YouTube really helped me just be more comfortable with who I am and just be myself. That's the thing. Just be yourself.
Hmm.
Everyone else is taken.
Exactly. Exactly. And I completely agree with that. So, again, guys, if you are not subscribed, the channel to Jonathan's link will be down in the description below. Okay. And thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys for joining today as well. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I guess that's it. Happy Halloween. Please stay safe. Okay. And I guess we'll see you guys next time. All right.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
everyone.